Hi, group leader. Welcome to session 5. You are now moving into stage 3. You've gone through stage 1, ready your life. You've gone through stage 2, engage through kindness. And now you're helping your group go into stage 3, which is advance to relationship. This is the big leap. It's one thing to pray. It's another thing to do safe acts of kindness. It's yet a whole nother thing for many of the participants when they are now trying to focus on just a couple of names to go into the relationship. Whereas in the first 2 stages, a lot of emphasis was put on the names and who those names are and how to whittle those names down. That's not going to be nearly as much of a point of emphasis for you in this group. And it's good to be aware of that because you don't want to miss what you need to address. You know, they'll pretty easily be able to land on their 2 or 3 names. That's not the difficulty. The difficulty for them will be the need of boldness in taking this next step and how to do that. So there are 2 things that you need to focus on during your small group. One, you need to give language to the fact that this is getting progressively harder, just like any kind of a challenge you would take for exercise or diet. As it goes along, you hit that point where it gets hard. The initial rush is done. You haven't quite gotten to the end yet. So this is the hard part. And you need to talk about that. And you need to talk about that not just from a natural perspective, but from a spiritual perspective. So talk about the boldness that is needed. Bring some verses in about the Holy Spirit and relying on the Holy Spirit and the boldness that the Holy Spirit can give us, just like He gave the people in the book of Acts. So focus on the need for boldness as this is getting progressively harder and how this is really the kind of linchpin of the Reach Challenge for them. There's a second thing you can do, though, as a small group. You may discover over the last 5 weeks that in your small group, smaller groupings have come up. People know each other better. People have connected better, especially if your small group has been put together just for the Reach Challenge. Leverage those smaller groupings. You may want to encourage them to get together as 2 or 3 to pray during the week. You may want to see how 2 or 3 together, if they're working in the same business place or live in the same neighborhood, could actually tag team together. Be creative with this. But if you see tighter connections, leverage those tighter connections for strength and encouragement. Because boldness does come from the Holy Spirit, but it also comes from each other as we encourage each other. So be honest about how this is a big leap and it's getting harder and we need the boldness and the courage from the Holy Spirit. And see your small group and see if there are smaller groupings that you can encourage as you move now into this 3rd stage.